The motion accorded priority. I call the member for Maitland.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I join with the Shadow Minister and the Minister in passing my deepest sympathies and condolences to the communities of the northern coast areas and Tweed. Particularly, I was up there earlier this year speaking with people in Murwillumbah, and my thoughts go out to them, and particularly also to the emergency workers who I know work so hard. And 2 years ago, after I'd been in this place for a little under a week, we had the same kind of storm here. We had a cyclone 2 in Maitland, and my community is still living with the ongoing impacts of that storm, and it does take such a long time to recover. And I was heartened to hear the Premier today talking about learning lessons from this storm, but I do hope that she's also learning lessons from the Maitland floods. I remember speaking in this place, Mr. Acting Speaker, about the issue for farmers, you know, not being able to get anything more than a $15,000 grant from the government, and those who hadn't been working for more than 12 months on a full-time farm capacity were ineligible for this payment. So we had retirees and those who were new to farming who weren't eligible for that grant, and that put them in significant hardship, Mr. Acting Speaker. And I note the comments by the Deputy Premier and Minister for Small Business about supporting business, and I note that there was nothing in grants for businesses other than the $130,000 loans, which many of those businesses are already so leveraged on this issue. I urge the government to work very quickly to restore this community's assets. I spoke in this place last week about a school in my electorate where 4 teachers are still off from the impacts of mould from an April 2015 superstorm. You know, these are ongoing issues that this government has failed to address in my community, and I urge them to act urgently and quickly in Lismore and the Northern Coast and Northern Rivers area, because it is so important that these issues are dealt with. Of course, being strong on insurers, making sure that they're meeting their obligations. We had a family that was living in a mould-infested house for months afterwards. And also, of course, have they learnt to include their local members in this discussion? And I note the presence of the member for Ballina here, and I hope that she is included in this, because one of the biggest constraints on our capacity as members of this place to assist our communities during the superstorms in April and 2015 in Maitland and the Hunter was the obstructionist efforts by the Parliamentary Secretary to exclude us from recovery meetings, which wouldn't enable us to help our communities. So I agree that we should be walking the talk, but I think the government needs to make sure they actually do it. Thank you.